Hello, everyone. I'm Avanthi Mantrala Maduri. I work as a user experience analyst in the ALCF operations team. Today, I'd like to provide details about ALCF's community file system, Eagle, and how one can share data using Eagle and GLOBUS. Specifically, how a PI can log in, share data, and how a collaborator can access the shared collection. So why Eagle? Because Eagle community file system will primarily be the storage space provided to projects that have a need to share data with external collaborators. The data sharing is done using GLOBUS. And these shared spaces will be accessible to ALCF project members and also non-ALCF users with a GLOBUS account who are granted access by the project PI using GLOBUS. As you already might know, ALCF deployed 200 petabyte file systems with identical specifications, Eagle and Grand, that were made available to users on Jan 1st. Both these systems are cluster star E1000s, and they provide significantly more storage space than Theta file system does. Although both these storage systems are similar, the intended use of Eagle is notably different from Grand in that it will be used primarily for data sharing with the research community using GLOBUS. Before I move ahead, let me first start off by clarifying that community sharing on Eagle is not yet available to users. My talk today will primarily focus on summarizing different aspects of the service once it goes live. So now I'll describe some terminology that would make it easier to understand documentation and use Eagle effectively. Let me start with collections. I've mentioned guest and mapped collections here. A guest collection is a logical construct that a PI sets up on their project directory in GLOBUS that makes it accessible by non-ALCF project members. The PI creates a guest collection at or below their project and shares it with the GLOBUS account holders. A guest collection becomes a shared collection when it is shared with a user or a group. Mapped collections are created by the endpoint administrators. In case of Eagle, these are created by ALCF. And groups are constructs that enable multi-user data collaboration. A PI can create new groups, add members to them, and share a guest collection with a group of collaborators. They can even delete a group if it's no longer valid. And note that members of these groups do not need to have a Unix account in ALCF. And we have internal collaborators and external collaborators. Internal collaborators are the ones that have an ALCF account. External collaborators are the ones that do not have an ALCF account, but they do need to have a GLOBUS account in place. Access Manager is a select user who can act as a proxy on behalf of the PI to manage the collection. The Access Manager has the ability to add users, remove users, grant or revoke read-write access privileges for those users on that particular shared collection. Let me talk about how one can get started in requesting for an Eagle project allocation in this slide. Interested users can request an allocation using the director's discretionary allocation request form provided here. The allocations committee reviews the applications and provides the needed approvals. Here I describe the overall workflow for onboarding new users onto Eagle. First step is the PI requests an Eagle allocation project, and upon reviewal, the allocations committee approves the request. A project with a Unix group, a project directory, and quota is set up for the approved Eagle project. A GLOBUS sharing policy is created for the project with appropriate access controls. And this policy allows the PI to create shared collections using the GLOBUS mapped collection for Eagle. The one thing to note here is that the PI needs to have an active ALCF account and will need to log into GLOBUS using their ALCF credentials. If the PI already has a GLOBUS account, it needs to be linked to their ALCF account. PI adds collaborators to the guest collection, and collaborators can be ALCF users and external collaborators with a GLOBUS account. And the collaborators can be added with read-only or read-write permissions. The following are a list of actions a PI can perform. You can create, delete, and share data with ALCF users and external collaborators who has GLOBUS accounts, and specify someone as a proxy or access manager for the guest collections, and transfer data between the guest collection on Eagle and other GLOBUS endpoints or collections. And here are some of the actions a collaborator can perform, an external collaborator. A collaborator can read from a collection if the PI has read permissions set on those files on the POSIX side or the file system side. Collaborator can write to a collection and can delete files from a collection if the PI has write permissions set on those files on the POSIX side, and the collaborator is given write permissions on the GLOBUS side. Let me recap the process of data sharing using GLOBUS and Eagle. It's pretty straightforward. I will walk you through setting up and sharing a guest collection using the screenshots here. In the first step, you authenticate to GLOBUS using ALCF login with your mobile or a KT token provisioned. In the second step, you search for the specific mapped collection. Please note that the mapped collection Eagle endpoint name you see on the second slide is a placeholder that I'm using. When Eagle goes live, we will communicate with you the actual name of the mapped collection. It will have the standard naming convention that is similar to that of the other ALCF systems, something like ALCF hash DTN and then the system name. And in the third step, in the path, you navigate to the appropriate project. And then you select the directories you want to share and right click on it on the directory to get the share button. And once you click the share button, it will prompt you to add a guest collection. And once you create the guest collection, you can click on the permissions tab at the top and share the collection with collaborators. You can either share it with an individual user or with a group or all GLOBUS users. You can also restrict the permissions on the collection as well. It can be read-only or read-write. And once you hit the add permission, in the last screenshot here, GLOBUS provides an email notification or email invitation and a web link that the collaborators can use to access the data. So this is a quick walkthrough of the guest collection setup and sharing. Like I mentioned in the previous slides, community sharing service on Eagle is not yet live. We are currently in the process of wrapping up testing and documentation. So hopefully you should see this go live soon. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Have a good day.